JJ McCarthy probably is more ready to play in certain aspects. He's probably more accustomed to being under center. He's probably more accustomed to, running an NFL-style offense. I think that is certainly fair to say. I'm not sure he did a lot more at the line of scrimmage, though, for instance, than Drake Maye did at North Carolina. And we certainly know that J.J. McCarthy wasn't asked to do more than Drake Maye in terms of shouldering the offensive burden at Michigan versus what Maye did at North Carolina. And if you're coming into a pretty lackluster situation, I think that's being kind, offensively, do you want to put J.J. McCarthy, who's used to being in an ideal offensive situation, you want to put him out there right away? I view their timelines as actually pretty similar, even if McCarthy's floor might be a little bit higher, because I wouldn't want to play McCarthy, Beetle, unless this offensive situation gets a lot better. McCarthy has not faced on-the-field football adversity, which would scare me. And it would certainly scare me if you planned on drafting him and playing him right away because you view him as this pro-ready prospect. He just hasn't done it. He won in high school, state champion in high school. He won at prep school for IMG Academy down in Florida. Then he wins a national championship at Michigan, and he barely loses. He didn't face a halftime deficit this year playing for Michigan. He was never down at halftime. He faced 2 in his career as a starter at Michigan. He doesn't know what on-the-field football adversity is. Do you want to put that kind of player into the situation that the Patriots have right now? I would not. I know the Patriots feel as though they missed on Mac Jones when it comes to this stuff. Well, he's a tough kid. He had to beat out a 5-star recruit and Bryce Young to be able to get the starting job at Alabama.
He's a winner.
He's a winner. He's won at a high level. He's been through some adversity. He had not been through on the field in real time. Bleep is hitting the fan football adversity. Hadn't seen it.
And Drake Maye just spent an entire year doing this.
Oh, he's got nothing but experience with this, right? JJ McCarthy is a different player from Mac Jones. I'm not saying physically they are the same. McCarthy is more talented. But when it comes to their college experience, it's a little too similar for me to feel comfortable inserting McCarthy into this particular situation and knowing how he's going to react. I was told by people in the building last year, as Mac Jones was sort of spiraling, and it was relayed to me that they didn't know how Mac Jones would deal with football adversity because they had never seen it before he was drafted. They didn't know. How could you know? They thought it might be okay, but how could you know if you've never seen it? You've never seen it with J.J. McCarthy. I think that logic still applies, and I think that is one of the reasons why ultimately they will be a little bit nervous about taking J.J. McCarthy and why, in my opinion, they will be going with Drake Maye with the 3rd pick. That's just my guess, but I think based on recent history here, organizationally, you can't feel good about putting J.J. McCarthy in this spot because you have no idea how it's going to look. You've at least seen Drake Maye put on the cape and say, okay, get on my back, boys. I guess I got to figure out everybody else's problems. That has not been J.J. McCarthy's game.
My hope for this top 30 visit that they're doing with Michael Penix is simply due diligence and preparing for the situation that might present itself, which would be a Godfather-type offer for the 3rd overall pick, where they know they want to come away with a quarterback in this draft no matter what, and someone comes along and offers them an absurd amount to get the 3rd pick. And if that happens, don't you have to be in a position where you can say, I've done the homework on Michael Penix, we're going to draft him?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing and hoping that that's what this is. By the way, JJ McCarthy has dropped below 8% in our polling. Boy.
So the leverage.
No one wants JJ McCarthy. I don't want JJ McCarthy here. And you mentioned some of those similarities to Mac Jones. I've been calling him Mac Jones 2.0 while fully understanding he is more talented than Mac Jones. But the similarities that do exist are enough to scare me away for all the things you just highlighted. I don't want to go with the safe bet. If I'm drafting at 3, I want to go for the home run. I want to hope that it's Josh Allen you're getting at 3 in Drake Maye. That's what I want to hope for. And I think the talent and the potential ceiling on Drake Maye is worth the risk. It's a risky pick. It's riskier than probably drafting JJ McCarthy. You can look at JJ McCarthy, as you said, just hitting it down the fairway, right? Keeping it in bounds, not doing anything too dangerous. I want to really go for it. at the risk of missing on the pick and having it be a bust. Fully understanding that risk, still moving forward with that.
The issue with some of these trades down. Now, this wouldn't apply with the Giants trade down. That's only to number 6. You're just going 3 spots there. If you go all the way down to 11, 12, 13, Vikings, Broncos, Raiders, you're now out of the mix for the top 3 receivers, in my opinion. And you're out of the mix for the top tackle, Joe Alt, who I think is sort of on a tier by himself. And then you have Olu Fashanu from Penn State. You have Troy Fautanu from Washington. You have Marius Mims from Georgia. There's a handful of guys. Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State. All guys that look like really legitimate tackle prospects. But you're out of the mix for the top tier guys. And would it make them hesitant to move off of 3 to then get a tier 2 player, even if they feel like they're filling a need? A tier 2 receiver. Say it's Brian Thomas from LSU. Could end up being a great receiver. Big body, 4.3 speed, down the field, X receiver, exactly what they need. But he's not one of the 3 best guys.
To sum it up, the way Tony Maz would, that's getting ponies, not horses.
Are you okay with that? You okay with a couple of ponies as opposed
I don't want
to the
ponies. I want the horse.
One potential horse.
Yeah,
He's a potential horse.
One horse.
You're not getting the bag, quote unquote, if you go down to 6.
I don't need the bag. I need a draft at 3.
You don't want anything.
No.
We're talking about if you were forced to trade down.
Why am I forced to trade down? Why do I have to engage in this?
I'm asking you as a friend to engage.
All right.
That's why.
Fine.
You wouldn't engage in the Brady stuff.
Oh, no, we engaged. We got like 7 segments out of that the other day. And then an entire TV show later that night.
Yeah, and you still didn't want to engage on it. You still wanted to.
No, I engaged.
To poo-poo.
No.
The idea of Brady coming back.
The only reason it became a segment in both mediums was because I was willing to engage as the opposition. So there. So I'm engaging. Now I want you to engage.
All right.
You're forced to trade down. Do you go down to 6 and take your horse at one of those premium positions that's not quarterback, but you only get like a future second round pick back in that kind of trade? Or do you go all the way down?
Wait, that's all you're going to get to move back?
We'd have to pull up the maybe it's a future first. It's not a lot. It's 3 spots.
If it's a future first, then it's or multiple future seconds.
Okay.
All right.
We got to pull up the draft trade chart now to figure this out.
But the trade chart doesn't always give you the full picture.
No.
Because in this draft, it's really a 3 quarterback draft, and you have the 3rd pick. So in other years, in a 2 quarterback draft, that 3rd pick is not worth as much, right? The quarterback position changes the value of the pick.
No question.
So the chart doesn't always tell the entire story.
You're going to get less to move back to 6 than you are to move all the way back to 12,
Without
for
a doubt.
instance.
Without a doubt.
So do you take the more pieces, the more smaller pieces potentially by moving back to 12 as opposed to the 1?
But if you move back to 6, you're getting Joe Alt?
Sure.
Okay. That's still a premium player.
It is.
At a premium position.
It is.
So that's better to me than moving back to 12.
Okay. Even though 12, you're going to get 12, but you're also going to get a future first, maybe this year's second. You're going to get more. You're going to get much more. So that's what you have to weigh. That's what I'm asking you to engage in.
I'd rather go to 6 than 12.
Okay.
That's what I would rather do. If there is going to be a trade out, moving back a few spots and still getting a top player is better than moving back 10 or 12 spots and getting a good player you would hope and expect, but not at the same caliber as guys who are going in the
That's
top.
what I wanted out of you. Okay. I think I'm with you there. And I think think Joe Alt would be my choice too.
I think it still follows the rule of thumb of horses, not ponies.
It does.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.